Joining us at one time, is it over there at the moment, is the Minister of Resources, Shane Jones. He's at a conference to do with mining. Where are you, Shane? Are you in Toronto, Shane?
Hey folks, it's 20 to 5 in the afternoon in Toronto, where the outside is covered in snow, and we're on the shores of Lake Ontario.
Oh,
and
God,
in
that
a
must be
sort of
beautiful.
relatively clear day, you can
Yep.
see the United States of America.
Yes, you just can't trade with them. How's that going down, mate? That whole tariffs which President Trump announced in the last 24 hours.
Well, most of the business people I've spoken to at this 30,000 strong conference, if they are Canadian, they're consumed by the issue. They are obviously seeking to make sense of it. At the political level, as you might imagine, there's quite a lot of frothy language. But the business people, and my focus up here really is investment in business. They're just working through the complexities because everyone is very unfamiliar with how a tariff system works in practice and the implications of retaliatory tariffs, which the Canadian government have already announced.
Yes, and I see, I think you're somewhere where I think the governor of it is talking about stopping electricity going to the United States of America. I mean, the rhetoric is really starting to get quite heated, isn't it?
Yeah. But the Ontario governor has deployed some very strong rhetoric, and I've avoided, as you might imagine, Michael, talking about it as a Kiwi politician. I said, hey, folks, I've got to go home and we've got to navigate our own relationship.
Yeah.
And that's up to you guys.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Let's keep out of that one because there's a lot more to flow over that. Listen, you're at this exhibition. I've seen there's about 25, 30,000 people there. Why are you there, mate?
So the last politician who came up here, I'm told, was Simon Bridges, and he at that stage may have been number 17 in the cabinet. And what we've done as a government is make a clear statement and attempt to reinvigorate the mining industry for reasons I've already elaborated on your show, but also to square off against the woke intelligentsia, to square off against this illiberalism that's led to very censorship-orientated approaches to mining from different stakeholders and indeed former governments. And we are open for business, genuinely. We've got the fast-track legislation. We already have investors in New Zealand who have Canadian character and Aussie character, and they've really appreciated an MP minister being up here to answer their many questions as to what does New Zealand have to offer in order for people to strengthen their hand and further invest in our mineral sector back home.
What are you looking for? Investors or actual mining companies to come and do exploration, or both?
So there's an old saying, first look after the children you have. And I've spent a bit of time here showing humility and going to talk to the New Zealand firms that are up here selling their wares and selling their services. And that's been a shot in the arm for them. I've also spoken to investors, and in particular commercial analysts who advise investors where to put their capital, and genuine mining companies who now regard New Zealand with the fast-track legislation as one of the best destinations in terms of certainty in and around getting a permit within an appreciably short period of time. Many of them are looking at Otago, not far from areas that you know.
Just down the road, actually,
still
Shane.
Still remains a highly productive geological area, and of course the West Coast. There will be deeper challenges if we find some of the critical rare earth minerals in the dock estate, like the Kahurangi Park. I'm not entirely sure how you'd ever get access to them, because that park You know, that park it should never really been created in the way it has been created anyway. I fear that it's locked up too many minerals, and a decision was made to create that park without due diligence as to what our society was given up.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing because, as you say, dockland has the potential to be mined, and it has the potential to be explored. The Greenies don't want anyone anywhere near it, with anybody, I suspect, with a combustion engine, let alone explorers. Are you going to, in your term, or try, Shane, to get the dock estate at least investigated by potential companies?
No, absolutely. We campaigned on that, and there's already mining happening in the dock estate. The area that's like super tapu, you're not allowed to touch, are the national parks. But I say to you, as geopolitical uncertainty increases, as supply lines and logistics in the face of changing relationships and the tyranny of distance, we're going to have a come to Jesus moment. If we've got rare earth, incredibly valuable minerals, and they're embedded in the dock estate, and the dock estate was not created equal. A lot of it's overrun with rats and rodents and stoats and two-legged villains.
Yep.
And we're going to have to go through that process. And if I can't get it done prior to the selection, God is my witness, our party's going to campaign on it.
Are you getting any resistance, though, from within the organisation, from within government to that idea?
Well, the Prime Minister has been very solid in supporting my robust advocacy. And he's very aware of what we signed up to in terms of the coalition agreement. And we offer a lot of support to Tama Pōtaka. But let's face it, it's a big leap for the dock officials to take to regard the dock estate as an economic estate, as opposed to some rare opportunity where biodiversity exists and can never be interfered with for fear of ruining New Zealand's overarching sustainability. A lot of nonsense, as you well know.
Yeah. So your basic argument is, yes, I've got problems and they're bureaucrats within DOC.
I know I've already stated on numerous occasions that once again it's something that we're going to have to campaign on, but we're working with Tama Pōtaka so we can make the system of allocating concessions and rights to not only investigate, but to actually use resources, either for tourism, either for mining, or other economic purposes in the dock estate. It's nearly a third of New Zealand's landscape. I mean, what country really can condemn itself to pauperism if you don't use the full range of landscape resources that you have? There'll be obviously areas where the society says, okay, whatever's there, we don't care, we're going to lock it up permanently, but not a third of your country.
No, a fair point. Listen, the other thing is co-governance and those sorts of issues. Is there any concern amongst investors, explorers, at the potential for things being slowed down in that area?
Yeah, you asked the right questions. There are a host of people up here who have followed the fast-track legislation. They're very impressed by it because they know that we're a unitary state. We don't have provinces and states within the macro nation state at war with each other. But they also know that it's going to be a hell of a test, that the pace of implementation matches the force of my rhetoric.